All right, I'm back. This is 2002 part 2. This is another story I did, all in marker and not colored pencil. This one is the Outcasts in Rosemarian. And Drake actually wins the lottery. So Drake wins something, Jorge won something in the last story. But Rosemary has a temper. She's mad at everything. So let me see, we'll go to the next panel. Where is the mouse cursor? And so they confront her. She feels like she's not attractive and she wants to change. So my panels are all over the fucking place. So let me see if we can get to the right. This is where he runs into a guy named Joe. Now this is based on Joe, the fix-it guy in real life. The junior college I went to had a mathematic engineering science academy. It's really just like a workshop, a place like a student center where students could go and get help for math or for engineering or for science. And Joe was the guy who would work on the computers. I don't know if he always did a good job, but he was all right. I mean, I never had a problem with him. So, you know, they say, okay, well, they're going to use the winning lottery ticket to use this transformation chamber to manipulate human DNA. He says, the lottery ticket, please, and we'll transform you. My dad passed away during this time. I remember this one a little bit. But, yeah, I moved on from that, honestly. He died of pancreatic cancer, he died of diabetes, he died of smoking and drinking. So the man didn't take care of himself when he was married. So let's go ahead. I think this was the night he died that I did this comic strip, this particular one here. So Rosemary gets into the chamber, she transforms, and her whole body's, this is cool. This is where she transforms into a 6-foot tall, like, looks like a Korean model. Let me see if I have it right. I think I have it right from this point forward. So she comes out, and that's it. When I did this comic strip, I was in a class, I think it was an English class, and somebody was pointing out, do you ever know great artists? Like the teacher would say. Everybody looked at me, but nobody said a word. You know? I was like, I'm not going to vouch for myself, you know? I want to have friends who say, yes, I am a great artist. This is what I do. You know, I want to be that reliable person. So anyway, I did this particular one in class. So Rosemary becomes Rosemarian. And I showed this off to a couple of people in 4-year college. You know, so Rosemary is like this Korean busty supermodel. Actually, Rosemary, I gotta tell you the ethnicities of the characters. So Drake is Latino. Drake is like me. If you see my picture at least once or twice on YouTube, I'm Latino, I'm Mexican. Raphael was also Mexican, but now Rai is Japanese. Gino is Mexican, Jorge is Mexican, and Rosemary is Thai and Mexican, but she looks more Asian. So, I just kind of thought of Korean model of my mind. But yeah, I mean, she's supposed to be this super sexy person, and she's off to do her own stuff. Tower Records. I just had a poor version of Tower Records, which is still around in Japan, I think, as like a small franchise. Piano Keys or Alicia Keys. I don't know what the hell that was about. And here she gets like picked up by Chad. It's always a Chad. Chad. So there's a Chad. And yeah, I did some patterns for the Tower Records shit for like the wall. Kind of like Garfield, you know, you have like a representation of a wall to make it easy. And so he's picking up on her. She's all throwing herself at him. And Joe gives Drake some bad advice. Or not bad advice and bad news. But Rosemarian is not going to hear that. She's running off to see Chad. And yeah, anywhere and everywhere. Yeah, it'll be a night she'll never forget. Yeah, I don't know. I think she was also based on someone I knew in school. Her name was Victoria. She was this like Asian, like slutty looking, like she could have been a supermodel bunny, Playboy bunny, whatever. Um, and I remember the last day of school, she wore this tight white dress with these diamond holes on them, so you could see part of her, like her side of her ribs. And she had these black boots on. I'm like, who dresses like this for damn school? Anyway, so Rosemary and Chad, they have dinner together. Uh, this is based on a girl I used to date where I would feed her, she would feed me. We went to Shakey's. And anyway, uh, yeah, this is one of those predictable things. So they're about to get busy, and Chad's kind of like, whatever the fuck, he wants to have her. And, and this is where, yeah, everything goes to shit. So Rosemarian becomes Rosemary. So she's no longer this 6 foot tall supermodel. Now she's back to 4'11". What are you, some kind of freak? I'm like, this is what you look like? This kind of reminds you of the internet, doesn't it? Like when you go on Tinder and you see these girls with these 10-year-old pictures before they gain 40 pounds and shit. Anyway, that's sort of reality. Oh, God, nobody. Doesn't matter. You still love me, right? It doesn't matter. And he says, yeah, it does. And so she kicks him in the face, kicks him in the balls, and walks right out. And Gino shows off his diary of condoms of who he did and shit. Yeah, throw it in the trash. Just throw it in the trash. And there's Rosemary. And yeah. So she feels bad about what she did. And yeah. Joe took off and left the state after he realized he owed taxes and cheated the government. Yeah, so they can't do it again. And he said, hey, can't you help me, Rye? And Rye's like, yeah, even I have my limitations. So she's left to her own karma. But she's like, she gives the hamburgers to Jorge. So that's it. That was the end of the story. This wasn't too bad. It was a little difficult. I felt better about this one. It showed that the characters had depth. There was a little bit of love and, a little bit of depth. I showed the same wallpaper as before, markers. The next one will have a little more action in it. And then there's another one. And then, actually the next one will be the last one. And then I'll show a little bit more of 2002. And then I'm going to take over a week off. And I won't come back to this until next weekend. So not this weekend, but next weekend, we'll get into 2003. So for today, for tomorrow, and Thursday, I'll show you the rest of 2002. So signing out, be kind, be cruel, but be yourselves.